Hey everyone. So in this video, we'll learn about tool use, like what are tools and how can we implement tools in graphs like LangGraphs. So that part we'll try to cover. So first point is like what is tools? See, uh, tools you can think like simple functions only. In Python we have functions, right? Methods. In the same way, tools are nothing but functions. The tool use, or some people will call it as function calling also, tool calling also, all these things are same. They can say as tool calling. In some terminologies they mention it as a function calling. Okay, but what is the concept here is, let's say your LLM has to interact with some of the external systems. Consider, let's say you are building one project, you have your internal company based database, right? So uh, that you can't tell LLM like, go for it and get the data. No, it is not possible. But what you can do is you can create one method and you can give that method schema to model, like, okay, see, whenever you can tell the model, like, whenever there is a requirement like this, you have to call that function. Then what LLM will do is like, okay, it will understand whenever that's what agent means. Like, it will understand, let's say this example, consider this example. It's a very simple example. What is 2 times 3? So that means simply you have one tool that is nothing but multiply. Whenever user asks any query, so it can, what this method will do is it will take two parameters and it will return the multiplication of that product of that values. So what we are trying to do here is, with the help of bind tools, so model will tell you like, okay, user asked this query, and it will understand like, okay, this is the query and this is related to the existing tools, and what I have to do is I have to give the parameters like this: a is 2, b is 3. Like, let's say user asks this one, so you can't directly apply multiplier it because it requires two parameters. How you know, like, okay, the a is 2 and b is 3? You don't know. That's what model will do here. So what it will do, it will understand, okay, user asked me this question, what is 2 times 3? Then, okay, the first parameter is a, second parameter is b, so that is 3 is b, and it will return like, okay, a is 2, b is 3, user is asking to multiply. What is 2 times 3? It will understand, okay, 2 times 3 means multiplication. So we already have one function that is known as multiply. Okay, I have to give this thing to the solution, so that you can call this function, then it will return some response that you can give back to model, and it will take the entire thing, it will return it in a better way. So this is the entire flow. So ultimately what I'm trying to explain here is, we can create multiple tools, and LLM role here is like bind tool. Role here is, it will tell you which tool it was calling, and which tool it was taking, and which tool it was formatting, like arranging the things, all those things, that will happen with the help of bind tools. Okay, we'll see some examples so that we'll get more clarity. We created one method. We're creating one tool. You can say it's nothing but a multiplication function is our tool. So we have two arguments. One is a, another one is b, and if you pass this, you can return some value. That's production, a product value, a cross b, a multiplication b. So what we are doing, we already created one LLM instance. These things I covered in the previous video. You can check that. We already have this LLM. Okay, so LLM, and after that bind tools. Whatever bind tools is a method, so it is available. And like, let's say we have this LLM, we initiated chat. By default, this has this bind tools method. So you can bind tools, whatever tools you have, you can pass that. Okay, so that LLM will understand, okay, I have tools in my pocket. So whenever user asks any query, I have to check these tools. If this is not happening, then I can go ahead and give some other response. Okay, so now if I pass a query like what is 2 multiplied by 3, then it will understand, okay, the user is trying to do the multiplication, and I have to call this tool. Okay, now I have to give the parameters like a is 2 and b is 3, and what tool it has to perform, it has to perform multiply, because that is the name we given here, right? Okay, so we can run this also. Instead of what is 2 multiplied b, I can say, uh simply I can say like, multiplication of um, 9 and 5. Okay. Or let's say 2 and 7. 2 and 7. Name is, I'm changing my name to Peruma. Just run this. See, it was run and you got the arguments, right? So A is 2 and B is uh okay, sorry, have to is this. Yeah, now you can see A is 2, B is 7, and we have the ID. What we have to do, we have to do the multiply call for from the, you know, or we can try this product of. I didn't clearly tell the model like you have to call this method, right? So, but it by the intent itself, it was I understanding. Okay, I have to do some tool call here based on the user given prompt. You can see this beast is, and it is a tool call, and it's clearly given. So I have to do the, so multiplication, right? So just now I executed. So what it will do this tool call, and that's how it will understand. Now what we're doing, there is a message states. These things are already available in, um, you know, LangChain itself. So let me rerun this. And after that, we have these reducers also. It will override these things. You don't need to remember too much. And we created one class that is known as messages state. And how we created another previous class. Right? This is a type dict, and we are using annotated. Annotated means, I can show you with one example so that you will get more clarity. Let me open this. This is annotated. What it will do, it will take the first one as a type, data type, and after that you can put some condition also, like this, like this. You can put the score is annotated, and you can give the score value, whatever value you are giving. It has to be the data type in, and it has to be greater than 0. So in this way, or you can give name, and the maximum length is 50. So in that way, you can use this annotated. So in our script, in our code also, what we are doing, we are using annotated. The messages has to be list. The data type has to be list of any message, and after that we have to pass add message. It has to be related to messages. This is what we are trying to create here. Okay. So let me run this again. And after that, this is just for reference. You don't need to worry. And these are the initial messages we are just trying to add here. AI messages, hello, how can you assist you? Human is asking one question. I'm looking for information on marine biology. The name is Lance, and after that we are trying to add new message. And we are using this add messages function so that we are just checking whether the one is appended or not. If you run this, these messages will be appended at the end. So now what we are doing is we're creating one graph here. Like earlier in the previous video, how we created that entire flow, right? In the same way, we're trying to create one graph. Here, what we're doing, so we are doing this LLM with tools. This is the one we are trying now. So our entire agenda in this video is, in this episode is, what we are trying to do is we want to um, tell the model like we have these tools with us. Whenever there is a user ask any query which is related to tools, you have to call that tool. That is what we are trying to do. That is what we are learning now. So that in our further sessions, we'll understand. If you have thousands of tools, let's say you have 10 tools, you have to tell the model like I have these tools available. You have to, whenever user ask any query, you have to pick the tools. How we can tell these things to the model, how we can implement or integrate these things to the graph, LangGraph. That's what we're trying here. Okay. So we defined one method, tool underscore calling LLM state. What this message stated in the top, we created one class, right? So class message state this one. So this one we're calling. So what it will do, it is nothing but list of messages. And the data type is this. So this is a data type, and generally we're passing this messages. That's a simply you can understand in this way. What we are doing is the same thing. We created type dict, right? There is one dictionary key, and the value is this. So I'm passing LLM with tools, invoke, and state messages. Whatever user is passing at this particular time frame, that will be passed here as a data. That is what we are happening, going here, like doing there. So first thing from the LangGraph itself, we are taking the state graph. and whatever this message state is there, right? This one we already created on the top, right? Same thing we are passing here so that it will understand. After that, we want one node, only one node is to be there. That's why we use this add node function, and we are naming it as a tool calling LLM. Or you can simply say, if you don't want calling, you can use tool call LLM. Okay, tool call LLM, and after that tool call LLM. That's it. And this is nothing but a function, okay? So tool calling LLM is the top one node you have to mention. You are creating one node. That's why this is the name, and whatever function you have, that one you have to pass. That's it. So you can run this on, okay, I'll tell you, I'll explain this also. First step is start has to be there. After that, it has to attach to that edge, has to connect to the tool calling LLM. Here we are not using any conditional or something. That's why only one edge is there, and after that, from this tool calling LLM node to end, then after that we are doing this, whatever builder is there, right? We are just compiling that, and after that we are displaying things in the screen. So now, instead of tool calling LLM, we'll get tool call LLM. I just, you can see this, we are done with the graph, and after that we are just checking messages equal to graph dot invoke. We are just invoking the message. I'm just passing it as a hello, just checking how it was going to display. Hello, how can I assist you? I'm just passing as a message hello, then it was giving it as this. Then again, I'm human, right? So I'm passing one more message, multiply 2 and 3. So I'm just checking, ideally what the model has to do is, a user asks this query, and okay, my answer, I have to call this one. So let's say, um, let me run this. After that, we'll try one experiment. See, human message is this. After that, I have to call this multiply tool, and arguments are this. So this is what we are trying to do. Let's say I didn't given any data here. Let's say instead of this entire content, I'm just saying like, tell me about Paris. I like Paris. Just run this. We'll see how it goes. See, see, look at this. We asked this question, it was clearly giving the message like, I don't have a ability to tell you about Paris. My capabilities are limited to multiplying two numbers. So because we created this tool, uh, it was able to give you like whatever you ask. Apart from this, it can't able to give you any information. Just understand, if it is a normal LLM thing, right, it will return your response, right? But here you can see it's not giving any response. This is the advantage of this tool calling. So you can create some your customized tool functions, and the model will respond completely related to this. There is another way also. This is why it was returning like this, because we created the flow like this. You have to, damn sure you have to call this LLM. The function call has to be happen, tool call has to happen. In case if nothing was there, it was returning some response like this. See, this is the best advantage. And you may ask this question, let's say I'm creating one application, I want a normal response. In case if I don't want to user ask some question, it has to handle both the scenarios. It has to handle the tool, it has to handle the normal scenarios also. That is possible. At the time, what we'll do, we'll create one conditional edge here. Earlier, we created one conditional edge, right? In the same way, tool call, or if the question is generic, based on conditions, we can put some conditional edge. We can say like, okay, you have to reroute to this, then get the response. In that way, also, we can deal the scenarios. But here, my point is, uh, perfect scenario here, like, if you created one flow like this, it will be stick to that flow. Even though you have the LLM capability, it can't give you any response. This is what I'm trying to say here. So I hope you got some clarity in this video. What I covered is, I clearly explained you about the tool use, and after that, how we can integrate that with the graphs like LangGraph. Those parts we covered, and we'll see the other things in the next tutorials. Okay, till then, take care. Bye bye. Enjoy.